Hey, friends and fellow VEDSies, welcome back to another day of VEDS. I am coming at you real quick with some challenges. When everyone sets out to make a video every day in September, there can understandably be times when it's hard to come up with either motivation or ideas to make a video, and that's where challenges come in. Challenges, of course, are by no means mandatory. They are simply little helps, little cheats. If you need ideas for a video to just get out, you can do them if you want, you can not do them if you want, you can adapt them and twist them and bend them all into a different way. As long as it's helpful to making a video, that's all that matters. I've got 2 general challenges and then a challenge for each of the VEDSies. So without further ado, let's get into it. My first challenge is going to be doing a Thoughts from Places video. If you have not seen this kind of genre of video before, it's kind of like a short essay-esque type video over footage of a place you have visited. Vlogbrothers used to do them a lot. I will link down in the description to some of those videos to just give you an idea. It's a fun format, kind of one that is kind of been forgotten about as the trends of YouTube have gone on, but something that's kind of been in line with how I've been thinking about videos, and I thought it would be fun for y'all if you wanted to do that. And challenge number 2, kind of based off of an old challenge I did where I challenged y'all to make a video themed around a color. This time I want y'all to make a video themed around one of the elements, so earth, wind, fire, the other ones that weren't a band. This is by far probably the weirdest prompt I have for y'all, so definitely feel free to throw it aside if it's not helpful. But I also find that when these weird prompts are helpful to people, it usually comes up with some really cool and creative videos. And now on to the personalized challenges. And some of these were easier than others, but I tried to find ones that fit into either the theme that y'all are tackling this month or just the same genre of video that y'all tend to do. So for Abby, you have been talking a lot about your past self, little Abby. But of course, you are currently a future past self of you. Didn't make much sense. But the challenge is, as you were thinking back to your past, maybe take just one video to think forward to your future. I'm not sure what that would look like. Maybe a message to your future self, maybe some goals that you have in mind for the future, maybe just comparing your hopes for the future against little Abby's hopes for the future and how those have changed as you've matured and grown. Anything that comes to mind, if anything that comes to mind, just a video about future Abby. Hey, this is Caleb from the future coming in because I had a challenge for you, Alicia, and I didn't like it. I was just going to go with it because I was like, I have to get the challenges out so they have time to do them if they want to. But then I saw your video where you talked briefly about going to the Eras tour, and I was like, oh yeah, Alicia likes Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift. Maybe, and I came up with a better challenge. So, my challenge to you, if you want to, is to make a video in the aesthetic of one of Taylor Swift's eras. Is it folklore? Is it 1985? Who knows? Well, you know, because if you make the video, you'll know. That's how challenges work. Anyway, you don't make many fandom videos outside of a classic Doctor Who, so this might just be kind of far afield of you. And if you don't want to do it, no worries. But I thought that might be kind of a fun video for you to do. So there is your challenge. And on to Graham, and you might not have time to do this month, and if that's the case, that's totally fine. That's kind of the weird thing about challenges, is that like you want to give people ideas, but also you don't want to make it something that will is just unfeasible to get done within the length of VEDS. I'm talking too much. Anyway, Graham, you talk a lot about music on your channel. You're very knowledgeable about that. This year is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. It's 50 years ago since Sugar Hill Gang released Rapper's Delight. I'm just curious what a hip hop history video would look like coming from Graham. That might just be a genre you don't know enough about to make a video, but if it is, I'd be very curious. Maybe it's a video about how hip hop has crossed over with rock. Who knows? If this is something that is feasible for you to do, I think it would be very cool. Now on to James. You have been continuing your fan dubs and doing some excellent ones, by the way. And I was thinking about the different types of voice acting you get. And you're starting to branch out. You did the Shrek one, which had an accent in it. And I was like, these are really cool. I wonder what James could do if he did a fan dub for nonverbal character, whether that was an animal or if it was like some type of robot or something like that. But it makes me think of like D. Bradley Baker and how he did all the voices for all the animals on Avatar. This one might be a little hard just to find a character for, but if you do have an idea, maybe something like Wall-E, I think that'd be really cool because I'd love to hear your fan dub skills kind of branch out into like a new area that you haven't tackled yet. Now on to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you of course talk a lot about musicals. You are very knowledgeable about those. And I was wondering, what are the best and the worst movie musicals that you can think of? Movie musicals can be just excellent, but a lot of times the filmmakers kind of can't translate what makes it work on stage to what will make it work on screen. So I was just wondering, what examples do you have, if any, of times that it just really excelled and times when it didn't? And finally, Tessa. Tessa, your theme this year is storytelling, which lines up perfectly with you as a storyteller, finishing up your book, getting it ready to send off for revisions. And I was curious if you would make a video where you kind of go through what your tools as a storyteller are. What does your writing process look like? Do you use outlines, or do you just go on a whim? Do you have any tools for world building or character building? I know you use playlists. Maybe you can make a video about how that helps you figure out your characters. And what does it look like to do revisions? What are the specific things you are kind of prioritizing as you get this book ready to be sent off to an editor? I think all that stuff would be really interesting to kind of dive into the weeds with you. So there you have it, my friends and fellow VEDSies. Some challenges, some broad, some specific, and all of them completely optional. So with that being said, I will see you tomorrow.